Alex, a lot of times they say that the game starts to slow down for you after you've been in the league for X amount of seasons. Honestly, from what I see from you, it looks like the game is already slowing down for you. Is that the case? Is that how you feel?
Yeah, I mean, this is year 7 for me. I've been in, I think, 10 offenses now. So I've had 10 different offensive coordinators. Just a lot of changes throughout the league. It just happens to be my journey. But I've seen a lot of looks, gone against a lot of players. I've watched a lot of film. And so I think just through the years, knowing scheme, responsibility, it just has allowed me to play faster. Because at the end of the day, like regardless of how many offenses you've been in, we all kind of run relatively similar stuff. Game changes a little bit throughout the years in terms of scheme, but I mean, our offense, there's a lot of things that we've put in that we've gotten from, the McVay, Shanahan tree, and so on and so forth. And I've been in that offense. I ran it with Sean in LA, and then I ran it again in Houston my second year. So, combining all those offenses, seeing a lot of different looks has allowed me just to grow each and every year and play faster.
We're seeing the growth on the field and seeing you making plays out there. Do you feel internally that maybe your strongest camp that you put together?
No, I don't. I mean, I've had camps, I feel like, in New York where, I felt like I pretty much played perfect ball. But it's the league. There's certain opportunities that you're going to get, certain opportunities you're not going to get. At the end of the day, I just control what I can control. I always have the belief that I can perform well. I'm definitely more mature than I was mentally at the time in New York. But I think the difference between here and other places I've been is just having Pete and his staff, give me that positive affirmation that they believe in me. And that goes a long way as a player when you can go out and have the confidence instilled in you from the people behind you and the staff, and just our interactions on a daily basis. You can see it in their eyes, and they look at you, and you can tell that they trust you. That's another reason I'm able to play faster and more confident, because I feel like I have people behind me, that are looking out for me.
How frustrating is it when, like you said, you felt like you had a perfect camp with the New York Giants, and that maybe you didn't get that affirmation and that backing?
Yeah, I'm grateful for it. I'm super grateful for it, because all those things that I've been through, highs, lows, has all allowed me to grow and become the player I am today. And I think I just take all that with me. I take it personally. I mean, it's a business at the end of the day, but I do take it personally. And so I think, through the 6-7 years I've been in the league, I've had to go through a lot of things by myself. My family's very supportive, but they've supported me from a distance. So I don't see them that often. I've been single majority of my career, so I've had to fight through a lot of things, just with me and God. And so my mindset really going into this camp was I go dark. I'm full kill mode. I'm taking it personally, and every person that lines up against me, like, God bless their soul. It's kind of the way I've approached it. And so I try to finish every play, because majority of my career, actually my entire career, every practice for me, I have the mindset that it could be my last, because that's the reality of it for me as an undrafted guy, practice squad guy. So every practice, because I've been on the couch and I've known what it feels like to wonder if I've played my last snap. So for me, I'm like, every time I get an opportunity, like, that could be my last opportunity. So what can I control? My attitude, my work ethic, and how much effort I put into every snap I get.
Every single day, Alex, you're just making plays. But on offense and on special teams, what is the feedback you're hearing from the coaches about where you are? Because you're fighting for a spot.
Yeah, it's positive feedback, but I try and tune that out, to be honest. Because I've had coaches, I've heard everything. I've heard, I've had coaches circle me every day on the screen, be like, this is the type of guy we want on our team, and then I've been cut the next day. So I don't try and take too much in terms of words. I'm grateful for the positive affirmations I get. And I think here, like I said, they've done a good job in making me feel like they believe in me. But at the end of the day, it belongs to me. I have to go out there and believe in myself and what I'm capable of. I try and put that on film every single day. And I'm grateful for all the relationships I've made throughout the years, the tips I've gotten from different players that were veterans when I was younger in the league. It's all kind of built me into who I am. And like I said, my relationship between me and God has grown through the years. I feel like I've just grown and matured, and it's built me into who I am, and I just try and go out and play for him every single day and hope that the film shows that.
You talked about being in a lot of different locker rooms up to this point in your career, now going into your second season. What's different about this team in particular versus all those other ones, and why you'd want to stay as a Raider?
A lot of like-minded guys, individuals. I think I've been counted out a lot, but I think there's a lot of guys on our team that have all been counted out at some point. I mean, you look at our leader, Max Crosby. He wasn't a top draft pick. So you talk about a guy who comes to the locker room every single day playing with the edge. We got a lot of guys like that. You look at guys like Jamal Adams. They've been counted out last year. I don't even think he was on an active roster. He comes in this building. He's playing with the edge. Same with Devin White. You got guys like Isaiah. You know, he was undrafted, built himself up into a starting safety. So we got guys, our entire roster, that I think that play with that type of edge. And it's cool when you're, going to a locker room every day and you can look guys in the eyes and know that they have their own story over other obstacles that they've overcome as well. And just being able to mesh with those guys and come in and compete. So I think a lot of us, this organization has struggled in the last, this 21st century. So I think all of us understand that. We take a lot of pride at being in the black and silver and understand what this organization has done historically, and we're trying to bring it back to what it was.
You've talked about your journey, the different programs, the different offenses, everything you've been through. You've been on active roster, you've caught passes last year in games, but I don't think you've made a 53 to start a season in your career. Like, what would that mean to you personally?
It would mean a lot. It's been a long journey. That's definitely a goal of mine. It's been one of the goals for a long time. So, like I said, I take pride in my journey. I'm trying to be an inspiration to the next guy. I think that's what's kept me going. I think about the high school kid that was me when I was younger, and I think about that kid, the kid nowadays in high school looking at me who's been following my story, and it's like, what would I be showing him if I were to quit, throughout all these years? So that's kind of what's kept my edge, because I know my story's not done. I'm like, every time I was cut, I was like, I know my story's not done. It's not going to end here. It can't end here. And so I don't know the accuracy of this, but I think I'm the longest tenured practice squad player of all time. Because when I first got in the league, you can only be on practice squad for 2 years, and then COVID really saved my career. Other opportunities, I had an opportunity to be a defensive back under Pat Graham in New York for 3 weeks. That's the reason I got into the field, because I was like the emergency corner because of COVID. But just all those different things I've had to overcome to finally have that breakthrough would be awesome. It would be great. But like I said, there's only so much that's in my control. I control what I put on the field every day. I don't make those decisions at the end of the day. So I have to trust the people in our building to make those decisions. But I'm hoping that my story just keeps building. I can be an inspiration for the younger generation, whoever's following me, that, regardless of circumstance, keep fighting, you keep getting back up. There's going to be a win for you at the end of the day.
Alex, what's been the keys in just persevering, being a survivor, making team after team, and also psychologically keeping that belief in yourself that you'll get to ultimately where you're trying to go? Yeah,
I think it's just mindset. I've been lucky to be surrounded by people that have given me the right advice. Just constantly, and there's some luck involved in pro sports. Just being in the right place, right time, building the right relationships, having the right people trust you. But I literally just got off the phone with Danny Amendola like 30 minutes ago. So I talked to guys like been able to build relationships with guys like that. Guys have already been there and done that, and just pick their brains and try and figure out. He was undrafted as well, and then he ended up going like 14 years in the league. So I try and find guys who have had to overcome those obstacles and pick their brains and see what makes them tick and try and approach the game in the same way.
Your offensive coordinator comes with a pretty big resume.
Yeah.
What makes this offense or his offense so unique or so special? And as a student of the game, are you kind of vibing with all of that?
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of versatility to it, a lot of different looks, a lot of movement, pre-snap. I know we didn't show that in our first preseason game. I think we're trying to keep it basic like Coach Carroll said. But yeah, and then there's also a lot of freedom. I think over time you have to build yourself into somebody who has a reputation for being dependable. And the more they trust you, the more opportunities you're going to get. And so there's a lot of freedom in our routes. I can add my own little sauce, I guess, to routes and be the player that I am. You know what I'm saying? So I think they're trying to find all our strengths, what we're good at, and put us in position to succeed in those ways. And I think Coach Kelly does a great job of that. And then Coach Beatty as well has done a great job in terms of showing us film. He was in LA with Keenan Allen, so I've been studying a lot of him. And the plays that I guess that they ran that were very similar to our concepts and the way he was successful with it. So, hope that answers your question.
Coach Carroll is someone that draws inspiration from so many sources, sports, otherwise. Is there anything that has really stuck out to you where you've been excited to learn more about something he mentioned, or just anything that's really resonated with you?
I mean, I'm a SoCal kid. Reggie Bush was like the first guy I started watching when I was a kid. So Pete Carroll at USC, my house is 40 minutes away from there. Like, they were the talk of the town every single season. So if you had told me at that age that at some point I was going to get coached by Pete Carroll, like, I'd be ecstatic. And I still am. At some times I wake up and I wonder if I'm in a dream. I'm in an organization that's owned by the greatest player of all time, or one of our owners, and then I'm coached by one of the greatest coaches of all time. I don't know how many guys have won a national championship and a Super Bowl, but I can't imagine the list is very long. But just the energy he brings into the building every single day. Very positive mindset, very high energy. It makes coming to work and coming to this building, fun. There's been times where coming into buildings isn't that fun throughout your career. But I think that was a huge difference that I've seen. And the guys that we sign that come in this building every week are all. That's one of the first things they mention, like, the energy Coach Pete Carroll has, even at his age, he's got that young energy, that childlike energy, that brings back that. Like I said, I take myself back to when I was younger, 8 years old, and that feel I had waking up every morning, getting that opportunity to play football, like, it was so exciting. And throughout my career, like I said, it hasn't always been like that, but I think it's the closest it's been to that as I've come to the building this season.